I'm ready to do this. I'm excited to do this. This is episode 314 of No Laugh Track Podcast. I'm Justin Severson, the host. I was home here getting ready to do the podcast earlier today, and the last thing I said, I was sitting on the couch, putting on my shoes and socks, and I was looking out the window. I have a little patio there, some plants out there, and there's a metal little table, and I'm looking at it as I'm putting my sock on, and I went, is that Bent?
You saw me? When did you see me?
And then I chuckled to myself saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to go talk to Bengt Washburn later today.
For the episode 314, which is 3.14.
3.14.
It's a podcast. This is the podcast.
Wait a second.
3.14.
How many digits can you do 3 point to pi?
Oh, that's it.
That's it?
I've topped off at 3.14.
That's it?
That's it. Yeah. I don't even know how to use that. I mean, I know how to do the little symbol.
Oh.
It's like, right? It looks like a Stonehenge. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
were you saying you don't know what why we need pi?
Well, I know we use it to calculate like circumference and volume and geometry. Yeah. I remember all that, but I don't know. It's magic to me. That's all magic. Yeah, I don't know how that. If I knew how that worked, I wouldn't be doing comedy.
I hear you. Absolutely. So that little true story I just told, it really happened. I really was looking and said, is that Bent?
We're going to be doing a podcast.
And then I chuckled to myself. It's that easy to make me laugh sometimes. Well, how are you? It's been about a year and a half. Yeah.
Year and a half, yeah. Oh, good. I'm doing well. I'm alive. I am now 53.
Yeah.
I think when I saw you last, I was 52.
There you go.
I had my thyroid removed.
Oh.
Right through here. Can you see the scar? It's not as visible now.
Okay.
For a while, you could really, it was all swollen and red. And this really happened. The first time I went to the coffee shop and ordered a coffee, the barista forgot my order like instantly because they were staring at that
so
big
distracted
scar down on my neck. Kind of like, it was like my cleavage. It felt kind of like, I know what a woman, I don't know totally what a woman, but I do know what it's like to have someone's eyes just dart down constantly. Like, what is going on with the giant slit in his neck?
Oh no!
So yeah, I did. It was not eventful. Just a lot. They took my thyroid out.
Where is it now? Are you keeping it somewhere?
I never asked. It's full of cysts. So I'd assume, what do? Do they chop them up first, or do they bury them? Do they just?
I don't know.
Just chuck them. I think they just chuck old thyroids.
Since we're two guys sitting here, and it's almost November, and that's the month where they're supposed to remind fellas to go see their doctor, right?
To get your thyroid? No, that's a prostate check.
Well, I think everything really. It's about guys not being too
is it?
proud and afraid and everything to go to the doctor
in and say,
for anything.
Do that test.
Yeah.
You ever had that done?
No.
Why did we go there? Anyway, you're right. Yeah, it is November.
Or it's almost. So, let's get it out of the way. How did you know something was wrong?
Oh, for years, I started to notice a little lump on my thyroid, right on my Adam's apple.
That you could feel from the outside?
And I could feel and see it at first. And I went and checked it, and it kept getting bigger. And then they did an ultrasound, and they said, oh, you've got a few cysts on there. And they did biopsies with needles. They do live biopsies. You lay on your back, and then they poke needles in your neck into each cyst and try to get a live sample. And I did that a few times. It was never cancer, but it kept getting bigger.
Okay.
It was getting hard to swallow.
Yeah.
So they took it out.
Jeez Louise. All better now.
Yeah, I'm fine. Well, I'm 53, so no.
There's probably something else.
Oh, well, for sure. So my dad said, I was complaining about health to him, which is wrong because he's older than me, as dads are. Mm-hmm. And he's survived cancer, so he's had bad health. Mm-hmm. And I was saying, I started complaining about this, and I thought, that's dumb. Your dad's been through way worse. He survived polio, and so I tried to back out. I said, but I guess it could be worse. He said, no, it will be worse. You know what I mean? It will be. It will be.
Oh.
It will. That's life, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It gets worse now.
I'd like to be more positive than that.
No.
No?
No, we all die.
No, not
Yeah.
okay.
It's a downhill, yeah, and then into the...
Fair enough. Now, the last time you were here was, as we said, about a year and a half ago, was episode 233.
Was it 233 that I was here? Okay.
Yes. It was January of 2017, and I kind of found this interesting. That was the day, was it the day before or the day after the inauguration?
Oh, was this?
Yes.
This was after Trump was
Yes.
inaugurated.
Yes. I think it was, I wrote it down here. Was it the day before? It was the day before or the day after. I suppose we should
And
know.
here we still are here.
We're still here. We're still alive.
We're
But
all
now
alive.
we're less than 2 weeks from the midterms.
Yeah, the
It's just sort of
midterms.
interesting how this your appearances are right around these big.
Around these big elections.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess I maybe I'm part of some false flag operation. Or a double false flag. I don't know. Just something's up, obviously.
Yeah.
Seems kind of suspicious.
Are you saying pay no mind, or there might be a connection?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there will be for someone somewhere. The way we can just, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Now, we had the bombings today, or not the bombings.
Pipe bombs.
The pipe bombs.
Yeah.
And immediately some people are saying, well, this looks like it's someone on the left trying to make it look like it's someone on the right. Mm-hmm. Which at first I thought, well, that's ridiculous. But then when I started reading, well, the pipes are pretty clumsy and, geez, it's pretty obvious, all the targets. And I guess this could be a lone wolf, seditious, horrible human.
I suppose.
That's doing it. It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. But then I thought, but wait, it's too obvious. Maybe it's a double false flag. Maybe it's a Republican trying to act like a Democrat who's trying,
Yeah. This
And-
seems like a movie.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is either way, it really doesn't matter. It's a seditious.
Yeah.
They're not Democrat or Republican. They're a seditious, arrogant.
For
crazy
sure.
Human. Yeah.
And what was the update? Robert De Niro?
Yeah. De Niro. Yeah, it's so funny.
Just for being, I mean, no matter who, okay, no matter what side or who did it, the fact that so De Niro, I mean, all of them
just
are
outspoken liberals or Democrats. Probably
yeah.
Democrats. Well, either way, it's a crazy, seditious.
You have no
arrogant-
experience with pipe bombs. You want to get that on the record?
I don't know any. I don't know how to make them. I've never wanted to blow anybody up ever. I thought, we've all thought of strangling someone. I think,
Sure.
at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a face that immediately came into mind for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought of murdering someone this year.
Oh, no.
But it's not like what you think. What happened? This is true. I'll be working on this material in the show tonight. It's
Okay.
a true story.
Okay.
I found a golden necklace, or not necklace, it was an earring, but a big one, and it was 22 karat white gold, just this big thing. So this is worth a couple grand. Mm-hmm. And I found it on a cruise ship in the guest laundry. And as soon as I found it, I thought briefly, like, should I keep it? I could keep this, But then I hear someone to the side of me go, kind of gasp, and I look over, and you know what I mean? So anyway, the point is, I took it to the lost and found. It was
Okay.
the right thing to do because a passenger had seen me find it. That's
This
what
damn
it was right.
witness
Yes,
is what
now-
you want to say.
So they see me, and then they startled me. So I looked at them, which then startled them.
Uh-huh.
So we had this moment where I think they thought, whoa, and their eyes would go from the gold in my hand to my face, to the gold in my hand to my face, like that. And it was a weird moment. Like, are we going to split this?
That's right.
Or are you going to kill us and keep it all?
Yeah.
That was it. And so I could see the fear in their face. I wasn't thinking of murdering them until I could see them thinking of me thinking of murdering them. So I thought of it briefly. They were really old. Pretty easy to do. It was a cruise ship. I don't know how you'd hide the body, but the point is,
I think of a great place to hide the body, over the side.
Yeah, but they're gonna, there's cameras everywhere.
I suppose.
Yeah, and anyway, it was interesting to have that moment of am I gonna kill? It was really. I mean, I wouldn't.
What you're saying is the witness did, in fact, make it to the end of the trip.
Yes, totally.
Totally.
And the earring was returned to the desk. And then I would check every few hours to see if somebody claimed it, because I know darn well, I know someone's going to keep that. And then, according to them, the people came and got the earring back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were told that it was claimed.
Yeah, it was a claim. You know what? I was never specific. I should have said, was it claimed by the person who lost it?
Right.
Or is everybody behind the desk going to have a big white gold party? You know what I mean? Because they just sell it. So that was my experience on a cruise ship with murder. Well, I didn't kill anybody, but...
Isn't that interesting? Look at it from that other person's perspective. Do you think they have any idea of how close they were?
Oh, they know that they were not close at all. But, but they knew I was thinking it. It was so weird. We're going to split this? You're going to... It was such a weird moment to be...
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Since you brought up the cruise ships, how are those going? Good?
Yeah, they're good.
Besides almost finding a buried treasure in some laundry?
In the laundry.
Yeah.
Finding that. Oh, they're good. They're difficult. They're really hard shows to do. They're very difficult. I'm working on some of the cruise lines with little older passengers, and it's not a comedy club setting. They're theaters, and sometimes they're not always full, and you have to be very clean.
How many seats are you normally on a cruise ship show?
It depends. Anywhere.
Cruise ship show.
The ones I'm doing, the theaters, the smallest would be like 700 seats, 600 seats maybe.
That's substantial.
Yeah, the smallest is probably 600 seats, and the largest that I'm doing would seat almost 2,000. Yeah. No, they're huge theaters.
There are 2,000-seat theaters on cruise ships?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, almost 2,000. These are, I think it's 1,900 that's on these.
Holy
some
crap.
of these big. I've been working celebrity ships. They're big ones. They're massive.
Wow. What are you? Are you still seeing sites that you haven't seen yet?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You get to travel. This summer I went back and forth between Boston and Montreal, just over and over.
Okay.
And over and over and over and over, and for 9 weeks. My son came on board with me for 2 of the weeks, but then I got to see Boston. I got to spend time in Bar Harbor.
Okay.
And Halifax and Quebec City, which is gorgeous.
Okay.
Gorgeous Quebec City, and Montreal, which is gorgeous, great. And another one up there, Charlottesville. Anyway. So yeah, you see that, or I've seen Argentina now and Paraguay, and went through the Panama Canal.
Okay.
Usually it's the Bahamas, though, which is it's gotten boring and dangerous. I didn't know. There's lots of crime down there. I didn't.
You know what? You would anger
was.
people saying that the Bahamas are boring.
Yeah.
People that never get to go on vacation. Like, I want to know. I want firsthand knowledge of that. Oh, you've got so many times you're bored.
Well, every
I want to
day,
go once.
Same weather, just warm and hot.
Yeah.
And there's an ocean and a beach. But to me, it's boring. I like the culture or the architecture.
Okay.
And there's none of that in the Bahamas. I guess if you build it, a hurricane comes in and like, nope, not today.
Is that why you're saying it's dangerous?
Oh, no, there's lots of crime down there.
Oh.
I didn't even know it. I was wandering around these cities and someone said, did you go? I can't remember which one it was. I went and wandered around and like, whoa, that's not probably a good idea, man.
Wasn't it pretty common where these cruise ships, not dock, but anchor, whatever you call it, and then people go off on their day excursions?
Yeah.
Isn't it sort of understood that there's kind of a perimeter that tourists should stay in? Or
I didn't know, and I think they go as groups, and they'll have these little tour groups, and I didn't realize that you should probably not. You just watch yourself. Like the murder rate in the Bahamas is something like 40, almost 40. No, it's probably 30 out of 100,000. I'm trying to remember the numbers. I've been going over the murder rate numbers for a bit. I'm doing on murder.
Okay.
It's true. In fact, that big caravan's coming now. That's the other political story now. It's a caravan.
Yeah.
That's coming from the Honduras, which, by the way, I don't know if people know this. This has been a thing going since 2011.
Okay.
Not this particular group, not necessarily this large, but they'll start out this large and they'll break up into smaller groups as they get closer, go through Mexico. And this has been a thing since 2011, but it's a midterm, so they're focusing on this caravan. But the point that I was going to say is that the murder rate down there is insane. Like if you look at El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, those regions, that overall region, you're looking at almost like a 40, 50 murders per 100,000, that's worse than Southside Chicago.
I was just going to say.
The worst Ferguson area, Missouri. That's worse. That's way worse. In fact, if you look at it, getting murdered, if the murder rate's 40 out of 100,000, that's roughly then as dangerous as roofing, which is the third most dangerous occupation is roofing. So tell people, think of that. Because you've been on your roof, right? It's scary.
Absolutely. Have I?
You know one of those angled roofs?
Bent, one of my jobs I do now is house painting.
Oh, so you know. It's dangerous.
Yeah, roofs, ladders, second,
roofing
third story.
is really dangerous.
Yeah.
And so imagine if you're in the Honduras, that's what you're living on. It's like waking up on your roof. Only it's July because it's like 100 degrees and totally humid. And you just live up there. That's what it's like there. You live up there and then someone shoots you. I say that's what it's like in the Honduras. So anyway, that's why they're coming is my point, I think. They're just, it's not nice down there now.
Yep, I would do everything I can to avoid that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, they have been for a while. I don't know how they're going to fix it. I don't know.
I if either of us had that answer,
no one would listen to it. Why does it matter if you have an answer? Surely you know this by now. That's the last thing anybody wants is an answer. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh no, this
good point. You know, the only people that I had, there's still one person that cares about my answers to things, and that's my youngest daughter. Other than that,
oh really?
Well,
how old is she?
10.
Okay, when she's 15, she won't. Then it'll be, you know what I mean? That age.
Well, I know because my 12-year-old is already there.
All right, already there.
Yeah. That's why I said
okay.
it. Yeah. I have one left.
One left.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday was my, I think, like you, second marriage, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Third wedding anniversary for me was yesterday.
Oh, yeah. All right, great.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So, like I said, I have one female in my life that still cares.
Still cares. Yeah, my daughter my youngest is 7. So she's still, but my son's 13. And he's kind of starting to he'll like question and push, which is good.
How was having him on the cruise ship?
That was fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed. Otherwise, it's just me alone with all these other older couples, and it's just.
Well, what's a normal day? If when you go out on one of these cruise ships to do comedy, how long are you on the ship?
I usually am only there maybe 6-7 days.
6-7 days
at the most.
Okay,
yeah.
and what's an average day for you? Then? How do you fill your day?
I will wake up too early. I'll want to sleep in, but I can't. So then I'll wake up and then I'll make my own coffee because the coffee there's horrible. Oh. So that usually takes me about 30 minutes to go upstairs. Well, first I take my thyroid medicine, and then I'll go upstairs. That's the first thing, thyroid medicine.
Your doctor called me and said, find a really sneaky way to ask him if he's staying on top of the medicine. So
yeah, I take my thyroid pill.
Good job. Okay, continue.
And then I will make coffee. I bring my own ground coffee onto the ship, and I have a little AeroPress, and I have to go up to the buffet, get hot water, bring it back. It's a whole operation. So it takes about 30 minutes. But then I still have an entire day to use.
Yeah.
And usually the ship I'm only going to have probably one night during that week where I do shows. If I'm lucky, 2 nights. So then you're just sitting there. You don't have an immediate show. And then the show you're prepping for, it's all material I've done before. Mm-hmm. It's all the greatest hits that you compile and put together. These clean shows, the most universal I can get. And so that's different, too. You know what I mean? Like, if I get heavy into these writing processes, my brain somehow knows, like, you're not going to use this for 6 months. Let's do this later. I really do believe that's the problem, and it's been very hard.
Interesting.
So that's why weeks at Acme are so amazing, because I'm doing comedy again. I've got like this backlog of premises and ideas, just huge backlog.
Yeah.
And so now I'm trying to churn through them and finish them and pound them out and get them done and recorded.
So when I walked up today, when I saw you in the club here in the restaurant area, you had a notebook out that was full of writing.
Yeah,
we even had a few pages. I think I saw
a bunch of half-baked stuff.
That's a notebook you carry around all the time.
Yeah,
have you been looking at it recently?
That's one of them. Yeah. I've been going over that one. That one's for this week and the last few weeks, where I've been just like trying to put together these disparate ideas and get them in, form a. So I should, the plan, I'll record tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday night, and then I'll edit together hopefully funny, but admittedly a half-baked material. But, and then just release it and get it out there again. I'm not into doing really high quality and recording that. I want it to be... That's
something new.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I've seen you here at Acme with lights and...
Oh, yeah, that was a different thing. Some of that... Yeah, because I did that DVD here, Whole Person.
Mm-hmm.
About... When was that? 4 years ago? And that was mostly finished material with a little bit of rough material. To hold it together.
Okay. So now you're saying whatever you're recording this week, you at Acme, you want to put out how exactly?
Yeah, a CD.
A CD.
Just a CD. No, I'll have tape to put clips online, but it's going to be a CD.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's... I don't know. I'll just embrace the nature of what it is. Like if someone downloads it, I'll let them know. Like, look, this is you're going to hear just comedy. It's not going to be perfectly polished gems.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Now I'm pulling up something that I saw you put on Facebook yesterday. It says, here's a link to my CD Bent Over in Europe.
Yeah.
Recorded back in 2012 when I was living in Germany. It's only available here or after my comedy club shows for those who saw me on Dry Bar Comedy, which I want to talk about. Or on a cruise ship, you can understand this CD isn't exactly clean.
No.
It's a bit racy, a bit of bathroom humor mixed in with some dark history and religion jokes.
Yeah.
It also has a very small editing glitch, but don't let that stop you from downloading it now.
Download it now.
Yeah.
Download my Whole Person DVD because it is currently $10 to download. Okay, $10, which is, if you think about it, twice as much as a typical download. But you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mine's worth twice as much already. And
I love a deal.
I'm going to double the price next month. So if you get it now, see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's really going up in value more than the stock market. It's a good investment. In fact, I am going to quadruple the price by the end of the year. I can guarantee you a 400% return.
Wow.
On my DVD if you download it before January.
Would this be a good thing to buy my children as something to, hold on to later in life and sort of an investment?
To retire from.
Retire from?
Oh, yeah. I promise that I will just keep raising. I'm going to raise the value by about 400% next year.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to hold it at a steady 6% increase. I think that's rational.
Sure.
Forever. Just forever. Like regardless of, I guarantee you that the price of the DVD will go up 6%.
Okay.
That's it. And I don't think most stocks aren't willing to do,
Oh, heavens no.
No. Financial tools.
I've got a little stuff invested, and it's dropped considerably in the last week.
Up and down.
Yeah, mostly down.
Mine's just I'm gonna keep raising the price. I learned this marketing technique from the famous painter of light, Thomas Kincaid.
Uh-huh.
You remember him? You go into his gallery. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And they would show you the piece of paper that showed how much this painting cost 10 years ago and how much it costs today. And you go, my goodness, you're right. This is an amazing investment.
I can't walk out of here without a painting.
People would buy those paintings.
Uh-huh.
Because they would show how it's gone up in price.
Yeah.
Right there in the store on paper.
Yeah.
And it would be like multiple colored. So I'm doing the same technique with my DVD Whole Person.
Brilliant.
I think, yeah.
As someone with a background in art, you have a history or art history degree?
Fine art painting.
Fine art, yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think about Banksy and that whole stunt he did a couple of weeks ago with the painting on canvas?
That was my favorite thing he's done.
Really?
I think they should do that with all of his stuff.
Okay.
He can be clever, and I get that, and that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But the execution of them and stuff, for me, it doesn't float my boat much.
Okay.
Maybe it's because since I'm doing in the field of comedy and like the verbal equivalent of what she does visually. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
A lot of it, I think, I could look at the Banksy painting, or I can think of 20 or 30 comedians. I could listen to their album and get, I think, a more impactful, better more meaningful commentary on culture, on everything. Mm-hmm. Whereas his are kind of, I don't know. He doesn't do it for me. But I thought that was funny. That was really funny. That was good. Good work. Good work, Banksy. It was funny. Yeah.
I love the fact that that the shredder's built into the frame.
Yeah.
But yet, and people are looking at it, that it's bigger than a normal frame, and still they could be told, it's just part of the art.
Oh, yeah.
It's just part of the piece. And then you go, oh, okay, yeah, sure, of course it is.
And it is. The thing is, it's probably his most valuable piece. The
right.
person that has that, oh, yeah, they're going to now take that whole thing and put it in a larger glass frame.
Yeah.
And that's a museum piece.
Did you hear that apparently he said that it wasn't supposed to stop, that really was a malfunction?
Oh, yeah?
And that in all the testing, the dry runs, it went through every time.
Yeah. Well, this is better.
And shredded the whole thing. I agree.
In art, that's always the way it is. The accident's always better. That then the gadget breaks, that's perfect.
Sure.
And then it turns on him, and he wanted it, but no, now you just made it way more valuable, and there's nothing, I
saw a thing this morning. It was Halloween's less than a week from now, and I saw a picture someone posted. It was last-minute Halloween costume idea, and it was someone had put on their own version of that Banksy painting on a T-shirt, and then shredded the bottom half of the T-shirt. Huh?
And then no pants. Perfect.
And then no
Perfect.
pants. I don't know if the picture went that far.
Oh, okay. Well, good. My son, this is what my son's doing. He's just at the age where he doesn't understand. He's 13. Mm-hmm. So sexuality's around the corner. Puberty's just, it's close.
Sure.
But it's just starting to get there. For Halloween, he picked out his own costume, and it is a giant, just pink unitard. Just a full-body pink unitard. And Kelly's like, did you see his costume? Because basically, he wants to go trick-or-treating as a naked man. I mean, that's what it looks like.
Uh-huh.
Like, Ian... So now I gotta have some conversation. This is gonna be weird. Like, no, you can't. It's just weird. It's just like it's a full body suit that covers his hands, his feet, everything, but it's just pink with just the. Mm-hmm. Have you seen these?
Oh yeah.
What is that supposed to be?
I don't know. They have been around for several years now, and a lot of guys his age, teens and pre-teens are wearing them to sporting events.
No. No.
You'll see them like the Minnesota Golden Gophers when they're playing basketball. You'll see the guys that are waving their arms to try to throw the guy off.
They're all just full pink.
Doing the free throws. Yeah, there'll be like 4 guys in those full.
Will they draw like nipples on the chest and genitalia? Okay.
There'll be like a guy in a green one, a guy in a white one, a guy in a purple one.
His is pink.
Pink.
But it's like a little too close to a flesh pink.
Sure.
Like a sunburned. It's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, no. What are you doing with that? And I'm glad Kelly told me, because I would have seen that in his closet. And like, what is he sneaking into nudist colonies or something? What's he doing with this?
Right?
It's creepy. Yeah.
I saw this thing. It was a list of things that you shouldn't. What was it? List you shouldn't say to people on Halloween, around Halloween. I think it was it. I'm going to pull it up here.
Okay. This brings us to the Megyn Kelly debacle.
Oh,
but yeah. I know.
Lost her, the show's done. She lost her, or not the show, but she lost her job. Did
she lose her job?
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's the thing. It said 5 Halloween rules everyone should follow, and one of them is do not guess what someone's costume is unless you know what it is, and that could be a major problem for your son if people guessing what he is.
What are you, a naked man?
Yeah.
No, I'm a naked boy. It's just weird to dress up.
Are you a crayon? No, I'm a naked boy.
For him to dress up as a naked boy and then go to the house and ask for the candy. Like there's Augie Smith.
You should be arrested.
Yeah, Augie Smith used to talk about like Halloween for the pedophiles it's almost like a frame job. Like, whoa, what are you doing at my house? Oh, no. Of course I have candy, but I can't give it to you. Yeah, Augie has a great, I'm not doing it justice. Augie Smith. Oh, such a funny bit. Anyway,
when are kids too old to go out and trick or treat? Do you have an opinion on that?
I don't. I've always just left it up to them. I mean, I'd be worried about him if he's 13 now.
Well, look at it from the person standing at the door giving away the candy. Do you want to see a 16-year-old at the door going trick or treat?
No.
Okay.
Well, and I think a lot of his puberty is what does it. When the boner arrives, it's over. I mean, everything's over for us as parents. They're not going to hear anything we say.
Right.
It's like I have maybe one more year to just try to influence him and put information into his head. And then once that kicks in, they're not going to hear anything.
Then you're out of the picture for like 10 years.
Yeah.
No.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the great flaw in the education system, which I didn't understand. When I was growing up in grade school, middle school, junior high, I never studied. Did you ever do homework at that age?
I did, yeah.
Wow. Nothing. You were a good student?
I was a good student.
Not a thing. Nothing. And then I thought, I think my mom thought, he'll start studying in high school because she didn't understand puberty in men. She really didn't. She had 5 boys. She had no clue.
Okay.
That when the boner arrives, it's over.
Yeah.
So really, sophomore, junior, senior, really difficult, I think, to teach kids, men and boys and girls.
Oh, for sure.
Because of hormones and the social development. True?
I couldn't imagine being a teacher trying to wrangle people that age to try to pay attention. I can't when all they really want to do is touch each other.
Yeah. It's just insane.
Completely.
So anyway.
My daughter, my 12-year-old, is their school is having, the middle school is having a little dance tomorrow after school, and then afterwards my daughter's like, well then I'm going to meet my friends there, and then afterwards we're going to spend the night at somebody's house. And I went, I've seen this movie. I know.
You knew immediately. Yeah.
You go to Audrey's house. Audrey tells her parents you're going to mom's house. Your other friend says you're going to. I get that. And
then you all go somewhere.
Right.
That's not at anybody's house.
And she said, "Why do you say that, Dad? Did you do that?" I went, not when I was in 7th grade. I didn't.
But I saw many movies with this device in it. I mean, it's old. It's old. Yeah.
Yeah. So of course I have that fear, but no, I think I think it's changed, and now the plan is the dance and then staying at my ex-wife's, mom's house. So.
For sure. So, Mom,
please, just give me one more night.
Yeah, not though. I'm gonna stay with the friends. No.
Yeah. But I said that to my wife, Ashley. I said that to her, and she's like, "No." In junior high, and my wife, she has told me, I didn't know her when she was in high school. She was a free spirit and got into some trouble.
Well, it's like my wife now, Kelly. My wife was crazy in high school.
So it was interesting when I brought this up to her last night. She said, "No, in junior high, no." When I told my mom that I was going to go to the dance and then go to someone's house, we actually did go to that person's house.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So it just changed a few years after that.
My wife, Kelly, no. My wife, Kelly, was caught in freshman English with a rum and coke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like the things she did. You did what? Like, because I was the other planet. The other planet.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to sneak just a Coke, no rum, just a Coke. Was something
Right.
I would sneak. Growing up Mormon, you couldn't have
The caffeine.
Yeah, our parents could drink. Our family treated it like Coke was like wine for the rest of the secular or other religious world in my family. Like Mom and Dad would drink Coke and Diet Coke, but that wasn't for kids. You're not old enough for Coke.
Crazy.
So you would get a root beer that might be a Coke. So you'd walk by and they'd, is that Coke? No, it's a root beer. And then they'd take it and they'd taste it. Okay, you're fine. So that's what... They kept an eye on that.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, my wife's doing rum and cokes. Yeah.
Is that whiskey I smell on your breath? Is that Coca-Cola I smell on your breath?
Come here. Breathe. No. Nope. They can't. Yeah. Can't do the breath test.
When I had the radio job, there was a saleswoman. This is, I don't know, like 12 years ago. Saleswoman for one of the radio stations I worked at was writing an radio ad for a local bar. And she was listing some of their specials, like come in Thursdays for ladies' night, a rum and Coke for $3 or whatever.
Yeah.
in the script that she wrote out, rum and coke was RUMMIN. Rum and coke.
Rum and coke.
Rum and coke. She didn't know. I fully believe
know?
she did not know it was rum and coke.
She just thought it was a rum
She
and
thought
coke.
it was just like a, maybe like a
word.
Yeah, like a word. Like rummin's a word. Like it's maybe a brand. I want a rum and coke.
She never read it. She just heard it and then ordered it after hearing it.
Yeah, rum and coke. It's super. I'm not a comedian, so I can say a super hacky thing right now. She was blonde. So when people say blonde, was she blonde? Yes, she was blonde.
This one would fit the case.
Yeah, this one would fit that stereotype.
Real actual blonde? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Rum and coke.
Rum and coke.
RUMMIN.
Well, I knew a very ditzy brunette in college. Very ditzy.
Mm-hmm.
We were decorating for some student activity. Oh, this was the weirdest thing. And then we blew up a bunch of balloons. We're going to put them on the floor. And we see her over there, and she's putting strings on the balloons that are just blunt. There's no helium.
No.
You understand?
No.
I'm not kidding. She had a whole bunch with strings on there. And we just came, what are you doing? Well, I'm putting the strings on here, and then we'll attach those to the stage, and they'll... And then she realized what she'd been doing for 30, 40 minutes. Like, oh, ha, 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 ha. I mean, like, oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, no. Oopsie.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oopsie.
She was brunette, so.
Okay. All right.
And I myself used to be brown and as ditzy as things I do.
Yeah.
Just stupid stuff. Yeah.
Did you, what were some of the things you dressed up as for Halloween? Do you remember?
There's
not some Mormon rule against Halloween.
Oh yeah, no, it was just always last minute. Well, you can be a scarecrow or a hobo, and it's because that's what we called it back then, a hobo. And
I'm old enough to have been a hobo for
yeah.
Christmas.
Jeez.
I took it a different way. I was a hobo for Christmas, not for Halloween.
I dress up as a hobo for Christmas. Go over there and hit the eggnog.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah, that is. No, I would. It seems like I remember always just being either. It was something you could just do with a straw hat, and it'd be a hobo. I did a scarecrow, and then
ghost.
We had some ponchos that we had gotten when we traveled to Mexico, so I would dress up. Am I going to get in Megyn Kelly trouble?
Careful
a Mexican.
now.
I would dress up as a Mexican.
How far did it go past the poncho?
Oh, everything. You would just do. You dress up as a Mexican.
Did you draw a little mustache?
Bandito. Oh yeah, you draw a mustache. We did that.
Sombrero?
I would lose my job if I was famous. I'd lose my job.
You are off the last hour of today, as
Done.
Effective immediately.
I'm in trouble. She's in trouble. She was. What would they say? She is. That's what I noticed is the wording. That the New York Times article said it was racially insensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't racist. It was racially insensitive. It was her talking about when we were young. You can't dress up like a character. And I have to admit, I knew a lot of kids back in the 80s. I bet you did too. White kids that dressed up as Michael Jackson. Pretty common.
Yeah. They had the jacket and the glove. Mm-hmm. But there was no...
Well, he was kind of white-ish.
That's true.
So, you know what I mean? You just get the wig.
That's true. You would just say, I'm present-day Michael Jackson. Yeah. We have the same skin color. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was pretty common.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh. Anyway, she's fired?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to keep up with what they need. You know what we need? We need like an SJW periodical. Come out every quarter just to kind of update my generation on this. You don't say this, watch that, because it changes. Really does. It changes so fast.
Well, how about
Enlightenment
for you,
used to take centuries. Enlightenment used to take centuries.
Yeah.
Literally, we argued about abolition of slavery for, I don't know, how many years? Hundreds of years. And then, we won't do it. I mean, racism wasn't even a word until 1902. I've looked that up.
Okay.
But we were racist for centuries.
Yeah.
So, see what I mean? Enlightenment takes a lot more time. And that's the one thing I'll have a problem when a social justice warrior, a young one especially, spouts off these principles of enlightenment like they thought of them. No. Listen, those were taught to you. It took centuries to come up with those ideas.
Yeah.
Centuries. That's why I'm always okay with judging someone according to the enlightenment levels of their time.
Okay.
But not.
That's
we don't
fair, I
go
think.
back in time. We don't go back to Jefferson and go, well, he that's a whole different set of rules.
Mm-hmm.
And he, frankly, laid a lot of the groundwork that you're using to condemn him. So,
No, how was this for you then? Going back to your notebook of 3/4 ideas or half
Yeah.
ideas, doing most of your, or not, I don't know if it's most or not, but a lot of your work is on cruise ships,
Yeah.
doing, as you're saying, the best of,
Yeah.
to not necessarily comedy fans, just people are going
Yeah.
to a show, then switching that to a comedy club where it is
Yeah.
comedy fans coming,
Yeah.
and you're trying to do new material.
very different.
Yeah.
And the political correctness thing is way different. I mean, it's whole different. But the clubs, very PC, but in a different way. On a cruise ship, it's you better not do anything political. If you say one, they're probably 70% Trump supporters on those ships.
Really? I never
Easily.
thought about that.
Yeah, it's older generation. They're
Okay.
probably easily 70%. And I just don't do anything political.
Yeah.
You'll get fired. And it's rude, too, on a ship. I mean, everyone's trapped together on the ship, and then you bring up politics in front of all of them? I mean, who would do that? I wouldn't do that at a table in the buffet with 6 people, let
Good
alone,
point.
I got
Very good
1,600
point.
people. Let's bring up politics. That's stupid.
Yeah,
so
very
I
good
don't
point.
bring it up at all. But even in the clubs, I'm very careful because it's just so. It's become hackneyed and divisive. Plus the late night TVs, they're doing it. They already got it done.
Mm-hmm.
It is tricky. It's really tricky. To answer your question, going back and forth, really hard.
I do want to bring up one thing about Trump, only because I listened back to the episode 233 that we did together, and at one point you called Trump America's rectal thermometer.
Yeah,
is that a
I
thing
do.
you've stuck with?
I do. I don't say it anymore, but I do think he is.
Okay.
I do. I think he gets blamed for things that he didn't do. He's a symptom of who we are. I really think he's a symptom of who we are. He's a reality TV show star because we love reality TV show stars. And you need this notoriety and fame to plug into the media to place. Mm-hmm. And we're easily manipulated right now by fear and anger. Really easily. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he started that. I think he taps into it and he exacerbates it on purpose to gain a political advantage. Absolutely. But he did not start that. That's been going. He's made it worse, but it has been.
Mm-hmm. That damn fear.
That's how he won. If those conditions weren't already there on the ground, he wouldn't have won.
Great point.
If we were civil, he's gone. He's gone as soon as he grabs on tape. It's over.
Yeah.
But obviously, that was a big moment when I was like, oh, my goodness, okay. People are much angrier than I thought they were.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
So, yeah, he's a rectal thermometer. But I'm not above saying that there's some things that he's done that have worked out well. I mean, it's hard to argue against the lower unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
It's very low.
I just saw that statistic again this morning.
It's a great statistic.
It's a fact. Yeah.
We should be happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's directly a result of the tax cuts and the deregulation. Now, am I in favor of all of that? Not necessarily, because there's an $800 billion deficit. That I think is idiotic.
Yeah.
During an economic boom to be running an $800 billion deficit. But, you know what I mean? The things that he does well, I was like, well, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
If the economies were if the wages would go up now, the wages need to go up.
Oh, well.
Have they gone up?
Yeah, there's
It crept up a little bit.
I just saw there's one of the guys that's running for governor of Minnesota. One of his big things is $15 minimum.
Now, they need to go up naturally. It seems like if the unemployment goes down, there's got to be a point where the employers go, like, we're going to have to.
Yeah.
They're going to start poaching the better. Surely. I could be wrong.
I'm no economist.
Yeah, I'm not either. I am an
But it
art
does kind of
major.
scare me if everyone's making a good living, then I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford it.
Well, that's how I feel.
So,
I honestly feel, and honestly, I was just at Einstein's Bagel, and you know what? We have a problem We have a problem with overemployment in this country. Half those people were overemployed. They should not be there.
Yeah?
It was maddening.
What do
The
you
guy
mean?
I was with, he waited 45 minutes for his Diet Coke.
Okay.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
And he had to keep, and they were just, and there was just a few of them like, oh, we can see you. We can see you not doing anything, just kind of putzing around. It was nuts. And if you say they get a living wage, no.
Well, one of those people was not placed in charge of Diet Coke. That was the problem. They were in charge
that's
of
right.
poppy seeds or
pretending to be in.
Or pretending.
It was nuts. Yeah, I know there's debates back and forth on that. And I do get bothered when people act like there isn't a debate. That's what I'll hear. That's where I start getting annoyed, when people act like that one side or the other has zero merit. No, there's
that's
points.
Not the case. Yep.
People have points, and everybody's have different priorities and fears, different temperaments, right down to our bones.
I want to bring up something before we run out of time here. You have something that's changed for you since the last time you were here is now you're co-hosting a podcast.
Yeah, with Tim.
Yeah, where you get to
Tim
do
Slagle.
stuff like this and give opinions on stuff.
Yeah, except it's not face-to-face. We have to just do it over the phone.
Well, I was going to say that at the beginning.
Yeah.
Is this weird for you to look at me?
It's easier.
Yeah.
I wish Tim and I could. It would be way easier.
I bet. So you have to do them over Skype or just the
and
phone?
sometimes I'm on a ship. And we'll pick 3 topics, 10 minutes each topic. And we kind of honestly, one will be slightly political.
Yeah, Rule of 3 podcast for people that don't know.
Rule of 3. And then one will be slightly political, and one will just be kind of like a silly, interesting story in the news. And then one will be something from our personal life. And we really kind of steer kind of away from politics in a way. Because he and I agree on a lot of things, but we don't agree on some things. And I think there's plenty of disagreement, political.
Sure.
So why not just spend some time on the common ground? I think that would help us. If you had to spend time with each side talking about baseball and your kids, or maybe hate baseball, soccer, whatever you like, you know what I mean? Then you would develop all these common connections.
Oh, I completely agree.
And then when you started talking about politics, there would be an element of trust when that person started to share with you their fears, like what they're afraid of.
Yes.
And then you would listen
instead of
to
that being
what
the first thing you know about them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then instead of being this thing where, I'm going to turn on the TV and this guy in a suit is going to tell me what my neighbor thinks. He's going to tell me what he thinks. From his skewed, highly partisan point of view, he's going to tell me what half of the country thinks. It's bullshit.
Right.
It is bullshit. And it goes they fire back and forth. But if we just talked, this is my ridiculous pipe, it's not going to happen. But if we shared each other's fears and listened to them, then we could help either one, if their fears aren't rational, which often they aren't. I mean, why do we assume our fears are rational? That's irrational.
Yeah.
So you get subjective input from somebody who doesn't have the phobia to talk you off the cliff. Is the way it's supposed to work. Or the person listening to you realizes, oh my God, that is a cliff. This is dangerous. You know, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
But instead, that's not what we do. We get polarized, and it's a mess.
What are you? So you've been doing the podcast with Tim for a little while.
Yeah, about a year, a little over a year. Yeah.
What are you getting out of it?
Just talking to him. From now, we're not. We don't have a ton of listeners. We're not famous, but I also get a chance to work out sometimes ideas or premises, and I'm starting to do cartoons.
Yes.
So with each podcast, I'll release a panel cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah, you just started. I heard that. You just started that in the last couple episodes, right?
Yeah. And I'm working on a strip I want to do, a cartoon strip. It would be of two homeless men in Washington, D.C., and a cockroach. And they're just on this one corner, an actual corner of D.C. It's between the Congress, the Capitol building, and the American Indian Museum.
Okay.
There's a corner there. And they just talk about different issues and things in the news. And like, I still have to do my first strip. I've got it all laid out, but like maybe they would talk about the Megyn Kelly thing. It's a white guy and a black guy, and they'll talk about this stuff. That are homeless, and a cockroach will pitch in. So that's my idea. So I'm going to work. That's what I'll do on the ship.
Okay.
Coming full circle.
Yeah.
Because I can do that on a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Are you, after the shows this week, Are you selling anything after the shows?
Just
to people?
my DVD,
Just
Whole
the
Person,
DVD. Okay.
and my CD, Bent Over in Europe.
Okay.
That's it.
Are there any more bent puns in your back pocket for future?
You know, I've got Bent Out of Shape that I still need to burn.
Okay.
I got to do Bent Out of Shape. One of the guys gave me an idea, Bob Bresendine. He's a comedian, magician. Bent Here, Done That. I think I'm going to do that because I'm starting to gather material about these different places I see on cruise ships.
Yeah.
So Bent Here, Done That, right?
I like that.
That'll be interesting. About the different cultural things I bump into.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's see. Is there anything? Oh, I do want that dry bar comedy. That's another thing.
Oh, yeah.
That, on my Facebook,
It's constantly
it pops
there,
up
isn't
every time between
Tons of
you
dry bar.
and Tommy Ryman and other
Tommy's
comedians.
on there. Yeah, Mary Mack's on there.
Mary
A
Mack.
lot of local
Yes.
Minneapolis. Jessie Campbell, isn't she around here, or is she Milwaukee? She's Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know that name. I don't know Jesse.
Yeah, there's a bunch, and then a bunch of comics who come through Acme. David Crow and Kermit Apio.
Yes, Kermit.
When Dry Bar Comedy was started, it's out of Utah, and it's from VidAngel, those people who did that automatic editing. Like you could sign up for the service, then you could watch a rated R movie, and they would just automatically basically flush out all the swear words. It's kind of like they're managing your remote for you. That's the way they got through the courts, because they were getting sued, and they said, look, you can do this with your remote. We're just doing that for you.
Oh,
That's how they won the case. Because
I didn't
Disney
know any
stopped
of that.
them. Disney put a hold on them because Disney does that.
Sure.
And then their argument back was like, well, look, everybody has a remote. Everybody. They can DVR all of this content, and they can go fast forward. We're just doing it for them. That's all.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
And the court said, yeah, that's good enough.
Okay.
So those guys, anyway, when Disney stopped their production, from Utah originally, they called me and said, we want to do comedy specials because they were desperate to make content and use their database of people.
Oh.
So that's when they started doing clean comedy specials, and now they've got like several hundred of them.
Okay.
I think they've taped, maybe 60 or 70. They've taped 60 or 70 clean comedy specials.
And you went and taped that
I
just
taped
for
one,
them?
just for them.
Yeah.
So it's a compilation of my older stuff, and it's clean, and 40 minutes of clean comedy.
Okay.
Dry bar comedy.
I talked to Tommy Ryman real briefly, not on the podcast, about this about a month or so ago. He was in town. Something stands out in my head that was there something unique about how they recorded it or the day they recorded or anything? Or?
They do a different set for everybody. They'll strike the set and put a whole new set, and you just do 2 shows one night. They tape them both and they edit them together.
Okay.
But it's really high quality production value.
And the audience is a paying?
Local. No, they're just all local people who come to see the show. But it's Provo, Utah, which is, they like it clean. That's where I ran into problems, because even my clean stuff plays with the idea of being Mormon but married to a Catholic and not being a good Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
And some people in Provo don't want to hear about, you married a Catholic? That's not, you're an apostate, and then most of them are fine, but enough of them, it triggers this doubt spiral in their head. And it just kind of... So mine was okay.
Okay.
I didn't love it.
You didn't love it?
No.
I appreciate the honesty.
Sure. It works. You can go there and download it if you want. Clean comedy.
Last thing I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
Are you paying attention at all to the World Series going on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I said Boston, last night? Second one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't really care who wins.
Okay.
I'm a Nationals fan. I've been a Nationals.
Yeah.
Because I live there now.
Do you go to games?
Yeah. I go to the occasional game. And I really enjoy it. I've started enjoying baseball after Trump was elected. I think it goes together. It's just like, I'll watch something else. Does that make sense? That's how bad it's gotten. I'm watching baseball.
Yeah, except that my team is so awful that I've never
yours?
spent
The Twins?
The Twins. I've never spent I've never spent less of my time on the Twins than I have in the last year of my life.
'Cause it was
from the
just so
time I
bad.
became a baseball fan in elementary school up until today. This last year, I've never spent less of my attention.
Wow.
Just not
Because it was just so...
They're so awful.
There's no hope.
No hope. By the way, they did just announce a new manager today, so
okay.
maybe things are changing. I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe.
But that just
I don't
happened
know.
a few hours
If it's
before we
like
came up
everything
here.
else, it won't matter.
Here's what I was getting to, though.
Yeah.
So they run a promotion. I think it's been going on the last couple of years in the World Series. Taco Bell. If someone steals a base, then like a week or so after the World Series ends, if someone steals a base, I think in Game 1 or whatever during the World Series, if you go to Taco Bell a few weeks after, they pick a day, free tacos for everybody.
Free tacos if they steal a base.
Yeah. Well,
It
someone
seems
stole a
like
base.
this-
Mookie Betts stole a base, Game 1. Everyone's already earned a free taco.
Just like that.
Just like that. So thank you, Mookie Betts.
If he could steal 20 or 30 bases, do you know the kind of hunger relief? There's a lot of, you know what I mean? Food insecure people that could go. It's not exactly food, but it's close. They could go there. Right? He's stealing the bases.
I think they ended at 1. No, I think the promotion's like they could steal 20 more bases, and you're still going to get your 1, unfortunately.
Because honestly, I think both teams should have agreed, hey, let's all just steal enough bases to score 10 runs.
Right?
You know, just in the first inning, we're just going to do this.
You guys do it, we'll do
They'll
it.
be on the hook. Mm-hmm. They would have been on the hook to round in those bases, like for 400 free tacos for everybody. Taco Bell out of business, right? Uh-huh. Game starts at a 10-10 tie after 1 inning.
Yeah, right?
So you'd break that record, highest scoring World Series ever. Yeah, that would have been
I like that.
missed opportunity.
So I like that you said that. There's a guy who plays for the Red Sox, Brock Holt. Mm-hmm. He's not excited about them winning. Everybody getting the free taco.
Why?
Yeah, he said, I haven't eaten Taco Bell in probably 10 years. So, yeah, I'll probably stay away from the free tacos. I'll let everyone else get it.
Oh, good for you, bro.
I'm going to stay away from Taco Bell because you'll end up on the toilet all night.
Oh, good for you, Brock.
I love them, but he's saying that as they're one of the hugest sponsors, and he's shitting.
Got a point.
He's kind of shitting on him.
Yeah,
pun intended.
Yeah, he is. He's got a point.
Yeah.
But you know what, Brock? Some of us, would be happy.
They gave him a chance to hey, you want to retract?
You want retraction? Did he?
Basically doubled down.
Did he? What did he say
And
then?
he said, you know what? I guess I'll take my son, and he can get it. I'm a Chipotle guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
he doesn't understand that Chipotle has a reputation.
Right.
Well, he is a connoisseur of shit food.
So, one thing you can say about Brock is he's really all baseball and not much anything else.
No.
Well, I think we did it. I think we covered it.
We did it. We nailed it. We did the Piecast.
We did the podcast.
3.14 Piecast.
Thank you very much, Bent. And
Good to be here.
People definitely need to come out and see you here when you're recording this weekend.
Yeah, I'm recording this weekend. Come out and hear some, I'm going to be pounding out some half-baked. I'm talking to the audience. That was weird. We were in the empty showroom. Did you see me look out to all the people who aren't there and talk to them?
Well, are there currently any poop jokes in your act?
Usually I do. Usually I have poop jokes,
That's what I
but I
thought.
don't think I have any in this one.
Could you throw one in?
I'll try. I bet I will.
Perfect.
Bet I will. All right.